Hi. Today I want to talk to you about making a camper van with pretty much everything you need. Now, this is the final design I settled on for my camper van build. Now, as you can see, unfortunately, I have to use Windows Paint. I apologize. I will tell you what every color code is here. Now, this has to be for 2 people. Now, understand that I have a regular size Dodge Ram van. It's a 96. And I want to have everything in there from a wood stove to beds for 2 people, bathroom with shower, sink, our deep freeze, and our refrigerator. Now, this is just a rough estimate of what it's going to look like. Now, back here on the very back is our wood stove. It will be above the fender well, which is pretty high. But what I'm going to do, because my van does have rubber around the windows, it is not a solid van as far as the sides go. It does have rubber seals and it has windows. I'm going to put a double heat shield around the wood stove. Now, underneath the wood stove will be a metal plate that will sit on the fender well here, and on each corner underneath I'll probably have metal legs, and it will be bolted down. The wood stove will be bolted down on top of that metal plate. Now, around it I'm going to have 2 heat shields. The reason I'm using 2 is because the size of the vehicle. I do have to have it reasonably close, but before I do anything, I have 2 options. One, I can take all the inside walls out of my vehicle. That way it'll leave bare metal, which will actually add more room to it, but it will have no insulation whatsoever. That's probably what I'm going to do, because with a wood stove in there, I want to make sure there's nothing there that can catch on fire. Now, these heat shields, if you can see this, I have some ceramic pieces to make heat shields. They're ceramic spacers. Now, I will have numerous spacers between the first and second heat shield, and then from the second heat shield to the walls. So each one of these heat shields will be this far apart. So it will be that far apart from the walls on the inside, and then the heat shield on the middle will be this far apart. So basically, I'm going to have it like this. Here's my wall, this finger. I hope you can see that. Alright, here's my wall, heat shield. Then I'll have another one of these with another heat shield on this side. So I will have 2 heat shields, and each one will be separated with these spacers, ceramic spacers. Now, on this side will be our propane stove. Now, to install our propane stove, I will have to go with propane from the outside. I will use rubber pieces. I will cut a hole through my wall here for our hose to go through, our propane hose. It'll be on the outside the tank will. We have 30-pound and 40-pound tanks. And so the stove being made of metal, it'll be just on the other side of the heat shield. The second heat shield here. The outside one. And I do have a black line here. Don't worry about that. That is actually part of the fender well. You can see there's a line here. It would come around this way and go here. That's the fender well. So the stove will be partially sitting on top of the fender well. The wood stove itself, the the plate for the wood stove will be on top of the fender well and almost all the way to the back. I will leave a little bit of space there for air circulation. Now on the other side of my vehicle, I will have our small double sink. And you can see here's the fender well for this. And I will most likely build some type of cabinets over the sink for our pots and pans. And up under the sink here, I can have some of our water jugs. Now I'm pretty sure you know this will be a bed. This will be from directly behind the driver's seat. Now this will only be approximately 23 to 25 inches wide. Not very wide. Neither one of the beds are going to be very wide. Now underneath this bed is going to be a drain pan for a wash machine. That's where the toilet will sit. That will be our bathroom. This here is our refrigerator, our little mini fridge, and here's our deep freeze. And you're probably going, well, how are you going to get a bed here? You have two people. You still need to make it to where, you know, you can go down the highway and have two people in here. That's actually pretty easy in my vehicle. Like I said, I have a 96 Ram van. Now, up here, right here where the seat sits, there is a platform, more or less, that the seat fits on. The cushions and the back part of the seat fit on. Now that bracket also has the seat belt on it. So I can remove the seat and leave the seat belt in my vehicle by leaving that bracket. What I'm going to do is, right here and here, I'm going to have two hinges, here and here. This will flip on top of this. And this part will flip up to create like a small bench seat. Now remember, the seat belt is still going to be connected to the bracket underneath the platform. So this will flip over to here. I know the drawing isn't very good. Trust me, my measurements will be much better when I'm building this. But this seat will flip, and this is part of the bed. The bed will cover the bathroom, almost clear down the stove here, almost. This whole back here will flip up and stand straight up and down here, or pretty close. That will leave all this here, when that's up, for the bathroom and shower. That's a key point, and shower. Now, I do have a regular size van. It is not a high top. So taking a shower in this is going to be very difficult because it's so short. But our toilet's also going in there, so we can sit on the toilet to take a shower. Alright, you're going, how are you going to get a shower? I have already shown our propane hot water heater, our tankless hot water heater. The easiest way to do this is for me to cut a hole through the door here. Just a small circle to run the hose through. Put a rubber piece around it and seal it up. And have the propane tank out here on the outside of the vehicle. And that way when the hot water's turned on, the shower's turned on, the hot water turns on. That's the easiest way for me to do it. Basically our hot water heater will be right about here. And all I have to do is have the nuts and bolts going through the inside of the van to hang it on. It doesn't have to stay there permanently unless I want it to. I can just put the nuts and bolts, space it just right to hang the hot water heater on. Then the hose can come through and there's your shower right there. Alright, once again, this bed is foldable. It will fold up and down. This piece will flip here on top of here and make a seat. And when it flips out, it will make part of the bed. This part will flip upward so you can get to the bathroom. And between my bed, this will be my bed, it'll be a little bit smaller. Between my bed and the front seat, the driver's seat, will be our deep freeze. And right in front of that will be our refrigerator. Underneath my girlfriend's bed will be all storage. I mean, for our clothes, for food. I will build probably a small shelf here or something to keep our dishes and pots and pans on. It doesn't need to be super big. In fact, I could actually just build a shelf up here and go all the way to the front if I wanted to, as long as there's enough room for her to get in and out of the bed. Okay, we've talked about the heat shield. You can use 2 pieces of metal, such as roofing metal, which is probably what I'm going to use, corrugated tin. That stuff is fairly cheap. But if you're going to do that, make sure on your back door, especially your back door, if you have, which you probably do, have windows on your vehicle, on your rear of your van, you come over far enough with that heat shield that it will cover the rubber on the windows. That's why I have 2 pieces here. Now this is the way I plan on building our camper van. There is not going to be a whole lot of room in there to walk around, move around, or basically do anything. We will also have it right here. Our propane tank can be outside to run our hot water heater right here, and our wood stove. But something else, if it gets to where we don't need the, we're out of wood and we need heat, I can unhook our regular stove with the oven. I've shown that in one of my videos. We have a camper stove with an oven. I can hook the propane from that. Now the propane line is on this side, so it's pretty good distance away from the wood stove. And I can set our small Zepco space heater, catalytic propane heater on the stove itself to get heat if we can't find firewood. I have designed this so 2 people can still ride in the vehicle with seat belts and sleep in it, cook in it, take a bath, not a bath, but a shower, use the restroom. The whole bathroom here is going to be under my bed. And you're going, how are you going to accomplish that? Well, it's not as hard as you think it is. I figured on stripping my entire inside of my van. That means all the inside walls. You don't have to do this. You can buy material. You could probably use tin if you wanted to. And I will get in that in a little bit. But this is my camper van design. For 2 people, to where you can both ride in the front. You have a bathroom with a shower. Now this is a portable 5-gallon toilet that we have. I've shown that, I believe. A stove with an oven. A wood stove, a small wood stove. A sink, double sink. A deep freeze, which is our chest freezer. And a mini fridge. Now, our microwave can also set on top of the mini fridge. So we will have access to basically hot water. We will have access to a deep freeze, a little fridge with a little freezer on it. So if we're running low on food, I can just turn off the deep freeze and just use the little freezer that's on the little mini fridge. Or if we don't have any milk or anything in a mini fridge, but we have freezer foods, I can turn the mini fridge off. And like I said, under her side will be complete storage for all our clothes and for food. And of course I will cook in here. If I don't want to run this entire stove or oven here, I do have our single butane stove, little single burner. But a lot of things is going to be on the wood stove, 100%. And once again, you're probably going, okay, you have the walls covered. What about the roof? What about the ceiling? That's going to be a lot of heat going up right above the stove to where the pipe is. Alright, I'll get into that. Now here is a design for the bathroom walls. Now, I tried to make this so you could understand it. Basically, here is the tray. Alright, I hope you can see this. That the wash machine sit in. And we're getting one big enough that we can kind of squeeze in it, but still have a little bit of room. Because we do want it a bathroom and a shower. Now, if I strip down the inside of my van, that will give me material to work with. That gives me the ceiling and the walls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build basically boxes that will slide in and out of each other and be reasonably tight. So basically, this blue box that I'm making will fit here inside of the drain pan. Now remember, this is for a wash machine, so it's a pretty decent size. And we are getting one, I believe this 32 inches by 30 inches wide, something like that. So it's a pretty decent size. Each one of these sections will go inside the other section. So the blue one here at the bottom is just a little bit bigger than this one here. So this one will slide inside the blue one. The orange one. Now I did this color coded so you can tell the difference. You can see it goes down a little bit. The orange one will slide inside the red one. Basically, think of a bunch of Tupperware bowls that fit inside each other. One is just a little bit smaller than the other one. So they all fit in one container. Now when this is pushed down, it will be no bigger than this one. So that will definitely fit under my bed. And you can make however many of these you want. I figure 3 would be alright for us. And once I get it situated, we can just put, say, nuts and bolts, screws, whatever. And if I paint the inside of each one of these with, say, an oil-based paint or something that's waterproof, then when you're taking your shower, the water is going to run down the inside of each one. So if the water's up here, it's going to run down in here and then run down inside the red one, then inside the blue one. As long as your bottom one is bigger than the middle one and the middle one's bigger than the top one, you're covered. And then all I have to do is put a shower curtain section here. You know, I can cut out a door and put a shower curtain section there. That way, if we need to, I don't know, collapse this for the bed, which we have to collapse it for the bed. That's why I'm doing it this way. Over here, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Each one of these colors would be a different wall. There's the blue one, there's the red one, there's the orange one. And the gray here, the light gray, the black, the light gray, and the dark gray would be the shower pan. So basically each wall is fitting inside the other section of walls. So they are getting a little bit smaller the taller you go. But if you make them fit really tight or snug, or even if you make them feel, fit loose, it doesn't matter, as long as you put like a bolt in there, something in there to keep these sections up. That's not a big issue for me. I can just put some holes in it and put some bolts in it, a couple bolts to keep these sections up. That's our bathroom design. And of course our toilet's going to be in here, like right in here somewhere. We can sit down on the toilet, take showers, or we can put some type of chair in there to take showers. There will be a drain on the bottom going through the bottom of the vehicle. Alright, that takes care of the shower and the bathroom. And once again, it will be underneath this bed. Right here. And the bed itself will go over all of this. Now we have a lot of the things we already need for me to start this, but we still need to get some things. We have the wood stove, we have the sink, we have the stove here, the propane stove, we have the toilet. I do have a small piece of plywood out there. I need to get more plywood. I need to get some wood to build with. We have the deep freeze and we have the refrigerator. So a lot of this we already have collected. We still need to buy the pan, the wash machine drain pan. I need to buy the metal for the heat shields. And once again, I already have a whole bunch of these. They're ceramic spacers. These are actually made to build a heat shield for a fireplace. Wood stove, fireplace, things like that. So there are some things we need to buy. The pan and the metal for the heat shield. Now I brought up the ceiling earlier, the roof. Now remember, I am most likely going to take out everything on the inside of my vehicle. That means no inside walls. So it'll be down to bare metal. Now that is still going to be quite a bit of heat on the roof. The roof is painted. I don't want that paint getting so hot that it will catch something on fire. That's where this comes in. Just a piece of metal here and a piece of metal here. Now here would be the roof. These are all spacers. I don't know if you can see that. All these yellow things are these spacers. Like I said, I have a whole bunch of these. I have like 50 of them. So I got plenty of them. The ceiling, the roof, there will be no ceiling. I will take everything out. It'll be bare metal. The roof will be right here above these spacers with a hole drilled through it for the pipe, the wood stove pipe. I will have spacers. I will have probably a 3-foot section of metal going across the wood stove and coming out. Now, right underneath that, I will have some spacers and another piece of metal surrounding the pipe to come out probably around a foot. That way air can still get up in here, and any heat that goes up is going to hit this first and then hit this. That will protect my roof. So this is how I plan on doing it. Once again, we still need to get some materials. And like I said, each one of these is a spacer. I did try to color code this. Now, the pipe will go through both these pieces of metal. I am double shielding everything. Whether it's the walls, whether it's going to the floor, or whether it's the ceiling. Because we only have a regular size Dodge Ram van. You have seen my van in some of my videos. It is a like B2500, 3/4 ton. So it's not a large vehicle compared to some of the other ones. It is not a high top. So I have to protect everything. I have to protect the rubber seals on the windows. I shouldn't want them catching on fire and melting. I have to protect the roof. I have to protect the paint. So, doing a double heat shield will make it to where I have to have a lot less clearance for the wood stove. So I can put it back a little bit farther and I won't have to worry about it catching my girlfriend's bed on fire. Or if I'm sitting here in a chair washing dishes, I'm not going to get burned. Because the stove can go a little bit farther back because of the double heat shield. Now remember, you can use corrugated tin, which is probably what I'm going to buy. You can use sheet metal. I don't know about drywall. I would not attempt to do something like this with drywall. Drywall tends to crumble. You know, it's easy to damage. If drywall gets wet, I mean, you're asking for all kinds of trouble with drywall. And once again, double heat shields. If you're going to put any wood stove, especially like the one I have, in a vehicle like your van, make sure you have a double heat shield. And make sure there's space between your heat shields, like here to here. All this is space. Once again, I have a whole bunch of these spacers that will go between here, and then I will have some from the outside shield to my wall. That way there's an air gap here, and there's an air gap around the outside one. And you're probably going, why are you showing us this? A lot of people talk about building camper vans. Alright? That's fine, dandy, but, you know, if you're wanting to get off on the cheap end, then there's different ways you can do it. Now, everything we bought so far has costed us quite a bit. The deep freeze, the mini fridge. I think the mini fridge was like $180. The deep freeze was like $139 or $140, something like that. So maybe $240. I think around $200 something. So we're looking at $500 just for those two items. The mini fridge probably is $189, and I believe the mini fridge was $280 or something like that. I think around $200 to $300. So that's $500. The wood stove, it was $119 on eBay, but I got ours for less than $100. It was like $97.99 or something like that. Now I got the double sink and the propane stove with oven for like $25 off Craigslist. Our toilet, we've had the toilet 4 years, I believe. We did buy it new. It was like $80, and we've never used it. I mean, it's literally brand new, and it's just been sitting in my van for the past 4 years. So, and you're probably wondering under here. Okay, what can we do under here? We need this space for clothes, food. We have a bunch of plastic shelves. I've shown my plastic shelves. If you look at my video where I'm talking about my wash machine, it shows plastic shelves. Now, if you lay those plastic shelves down on their side, here, like basically you stand your shelf up, it comes this way. If you lay it on the side or on the back, then you'll have like a shelf here, shelf here, shelf here, but it's laid down so you have some way to separate stuff. Now, to keep everything separated, you can put a piece of material around the shelf and just screw it on the shelf. Anything, literally, to keep stuff separated. And then this whole bed here will lift up. So we're able to get food out from under there, canned goods. We could keep water, whatever. And I know you think I'm kind of rambling here, but if you have a regular size van and you need to transport 2 people, putting one bed on top of the other is going to be really hard to do unless one bed is on the floor. Those floors get pretty cold. That's probably nothing you want to do. Plus, if you want a bathroom, that's something else that's going to take up a lot of room. You have to figure out how to get that bathroom to where it collapses. Now, I've seen people online on YouTube just hang a shower curtain around. Well, that's fine if that's something you want to do. Me personally, I'd rather have something with solid walls to where I don't have to worry about the shower curtain ripping or water escaping. Even with this, if the shower curtain's here to here and all the water's running down, even if it's still wet, I can drop this down and then it'll dry. Once again, you don't have to do any of this. This is just what I'm going to do. And this is the roof heat shield. And yes, I will have to drill holes in my roof. Because wherever there's a spacer, I want it to go through the roof. And, this piece here will go through the roof. The spacers, the nuts and bolts. And then this piece here will be attached to that piece. That way, a lot of this heat from the stovepipe is going to hit this first and then, this. It won't go directly up to the roof of my van. So if you plan on putting a wood stove in, there's various ways you can do it. But since we have 2 people, which means if we both have to ride in the van to go somewhere, then we need 2 seats. Leaving this other seat, front seat end here, the way the seats are made in my vehicle, they lean and go forward, but not nearly enough. And they're basically built out of one piece. And then you have the brace underneath it. So as long as I leave that brace there and just undo the seat from it and get rid of the seat, I can build right here and just make a bed that attaches to that brace right here, and my girlfriend will still have seatbelt to use. This, like I said, will fold up and down. This will, right here, will fold over and sit on top of this one. Basically, like this. Hope you can see that. It'll go from here to here. The back, here's the bed, will go from here up. So basically, the front piece here is the front of my fingers. Will fold over, and then, here's the other piece, but it'll fold all the way over like this, and the back will come up. That will make a bench seat. And all we have to do is put a cushion on there. And the way I plan on making this, if you saw my video where I talked about our new mattress that we purchased, which is another purchase I forgot about, the mattress can, lay here, and when it's folded up, the mattress can just hang over the top, and then you have some cushion here. Anyway, this is my plan. We have 110 appliances. We have a deep freeze. We have a mini fridge. If you have a 12-volt fridge with a freezer or just an ice chest or something like that, you can leave your seat up here, and just slide the ice chest under here, put your mini fridge under here, whatever. If you have a high top, then there's so much more you can do with that. Unfortunately, I don't have a high top. And you're probably going, well, how are you going to wash dishes back here if your hot water heater is here? All I have to do is turn on the shower and get hot water out. And then pour it in here with 5-gallon buckets. I do not want to run a bunch of hoses. I will run electricity through most of this. Probably stop about here on this side. I will probably stop here on this side, and then I'll put some plugs here, somewhere in here. My coffee's cold. But remember, if you're wanting to put a wood stove in a vehicle, couple things. Carbon monoxide detector, we do have. Fire extinguisher, we are looking at them, seeing which would be best for us. Smoke detector. Now understand, when you open this wood stove, if you have a fire going, some smoke will come into your vehicle. Now on my van, we have small windows here that slide open, and here. We also have the back windows that we could open. We have windows on my double doors. We have the front windows and the little bitty windows that, go in and out like this. I hope you can see that. So we have plenty of windows I can open if we get smoke in the van. If you want to avoid that, using your wood stove, once you get your fire, your wood in there, close your door, let the fire just go. Let that burn down to coals before you add any more wood to it. And as soon as you add wood to it, close your door. Those coals will catch your wood back on fire, and you won't get smoke. Once again, we will have an oven, a stove, 3-burner stove. On top of the oven is propane. Double sink. It's a mini sink. Now, granted, it's a small double sink. And the reason I don't want to put any type of water line here, well, a couple reasons. One, the wood stove's right across from it. And two, if our hot water heater's right here, up here, for our shower, then I would have to tie all this off on the bottom somewhere, run pipe either all the way around here somehow, or run it back here around the wood stove. So, that's not something I want to do. And that would just be more places for problems to happen. Say we have to go somewhere, and the van's just sitting there. Once again, if Joe Biden wins, we're all screwed. Thanks a lot, you morons, for voting for that dude. Because if he does what he says he's going to do, there's not going to be gas. There's not going to be propane or natural gas. Millions upon millions of people are going to be out of work, and people are going, you're just exaggerating. Let's see. No oil industry, no gas, no Burger King, dude. Literally. Joe Biden says no type of fossil fuels whatsoever. That means no natural gas, no propane. As far as I know, Burger King still makes their stuff on flame broil. That means they're going to be out of business. Everybody that works for Burger King is going to be out of work. I mean, that's another reason we are attempting to get this done so quickly. But unfortunately, with COVID, everything locked down and only certain people can work and only certain things are open, money is extremely tight. So it's a good thing we started collecting stuff before now. Basically, all we have to get now is the metal for my heat shield, the nuts and bolts to hold everything together here, the wood, a piece of plywood for this bed. I already have one for this bed. Some hinges, which I may have some, but I'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hinges, 2x4s, things like that. Now, right here, you already know I actually have my electrical plug right about here. That is not going to affect the bathroom. I mean, the plug itself, the wires will go up here and probably back this way, or both can go up this way for the deep freeze and mini fridge. This will be far enough out that it will not affect the plugs, the electricity from the outside. I've already checked all this. But basically, this is what I'm going to do. Now, I do apologize for this video being so long. I am using my larger camcorder. As you can tell, I'm not bumping it, shaking it, whatever. Now, if you have like a Guide Gear wood stove, like we have, and you have it in a vehicle that is not a high top or an RV or camper, let me know. Let me know how your heat shield's set up. Because the best I can figure out is a double heat shield for the walls and for coming out here, at least out to where the stove is, the outside of the stove. And then a double heat shield for the ceiling. And I already have a silicone piece that'll fit around this pipe to seal on my roof. So anyway, like I said, just if you want to install a wood stove in a vehicle or anything else in a vehicle, measure your vehicle first. Know how much room you have. Know how much space is needed between certain things. Now, right here where my bed is going to be down, it may be pretty close to the stove, but we're not going to have the stove on or the oven on. My bed is going to fold up. This will be the back of the front seat that I make from scratch, unfortunately. So there'll still be 8 inches, 10 inches between the stove and the side of the bathroom. Once again, the color codes are, of course, this will be underneath the bed. One full bed that folds up into a bench seat. One bed here with storage underneath. The deep freeze between part of my bed and the front driver's seat. In front of that, the mini fridge, which is the deep freeze is a lighter blue, The mini fridge is a bluish purple, I believe. Toilet, of course, is green. I did not put a color for the drain pan. The propane stove and oven is green with the red dots, kind of dots. The heat shields are like a light gray. The wood stove is, of course, black. The gray up underneath is a metal piece for setting the wood stove on and also creating a heat shield. Because remember, this is at the back corner of my van. Alright? Do you know what's under here? That's the gas tank. So I definitely need to make sure that no heat or coals or anything else gets on the floor right here. My gas tank is right there. And I want to make sure no heat actually goes through the floor. Of course, I have holes in my floor, which is I will have to, cover up before I do any of this. And the white here with the blue is the small double sink I have. I believe it's a small camper sink. And this is the plan I plan on doing. So, 2 people can still get in the vehicle and ride in the vehicle. Because once I build this on the piece that's still there that I took the seat off of, the seat belt is connected to that piece. It's not connected to the seat itself. And so the seat belt's still up here. It can still go across and still connect. All I need to do is have this seat here. Once again, this is how I'm going to do it. You don't have to do it this way. But remember, I am in a Dodge Ram van. No high top. I have windows literally all the way around, which means rubber seals on every window. I have to make sure all that's protected from the heat because I want this wood stove in there. And once again, we do have little windows here, that slide open. We have little windows in the front that, open in and out. So we have plenty of ways to get ventilation. Plus I have massive holes in the floor and they're just covered with plywood. So, I'm pretty sure we're not going to suffocate for no air because there's plenty of air coming in. This is my design. It doesn't have to be yours, but if you're going to install a wood stove, my advice to you, do not install it behind the seats. I have seen that in certain videos where people have high tops and they have this wood stove like 6 inches away from that seat. That's kind of dangerous. So anyway, I believe this wood stove will actually burn us out. So I will just light small fires in it, small pieces of wood. Because once again, if you watched any of my videos, you've seen my van. It's a full-size van, but compared to an RV, compared to a camper trailer, I mean, there are people that put stoves like this in camper trailers, and they're like saying it's 80 degrees in here when it's 10 degrees outside. So you can only imagine how hot this is going to get in just a full-size van. But this is what I'm going to do. Deep freeze, mini fridge, bed that folds up into a bench seat, bathroom made out of a washing machine drain pan and our portable toilet, stove with oven, propane, wood stove, 2 heat shields, spaced apart with ceramic heat shield spacers. I hope you can see that. Bed over here with storage under it. Double sink. Water will be under the sink here. Water jugs. Probably 6-gallon jugs. Right here is the fender well, which means I would have to have a jug facing this way and probably one on the front here for whatever. One for maybe, I don't know, storage, drinking. I do have a little water pump that fits on a Ozarka bottle that I can just drop the hose in there and pump water out if we want to drink a water or something. This will not leave a lot of room in a full-size van. I mean, it will leave next to no room. So, remember, you're not going to be moving around a lot. But of course, I also have a deep freeze and a mini fridge. You've seen those that I will be putting in there. You don't have to put that in there. That will give you more room. I mean, technically, you could actually put a shower right between the front seats and a bathroom right there. You don't have to have a stove. Maybe you have a small camp stove that runs off propane or butane. You know, you're not going to have everything I have, and vice versa. I don't know what you have or what kind of build you have. This is just what I'm doing. And like I said, the first thing I'm going to do is take out everything on the ceiling, everything on the walls. It has that felt stuff on it. It's thin wood, I believe, in there. And I can always use that to build my shower with, because I have plenty of it. Once again, if you are going to put any type of wood stove in a vehicle, I don't really care if it is in a van, in a camper, in an RV. Think about a double heat shield to keep all that heat away from your wall. I understand a lot of people do it with single heat shields, but you want to make sure you don't burn yourself up. You don't burn your vehicle. You don't burn you. Always be safe. Anyway, I'm going to show these pictures one more time. As you can see, this goes on the inside of this one. The red goes up here. The red goes inside the blue. The blue goes over the red. I have my door cut out, so when I pull each piece up, it'll make one single door, and I'll have a shower curtain hanging across the front. Basically, it's going to look like this. The door will be somewhere in here, whatever. And the toilet here. Here's the double heat shield for the ceiling where the pipe goes through. Make sure, if you're going to do something like this, you're going to have to drill through your roof. Make sure you're willing to do that. I definitely am willing to do that. Make sure you have all the stuff you need. We bought a silicone piece that slips over the pipe that screws down on the roof of the vehicle. It's supposed to be high temp silicone, so that should keep it from leaking. Another thing is, if you're going to put a wood stove in a vehicle, there's one thing you need to understand. If you're going to be moving around, any wind that goes up in here is going to blow any soot clear back down this pipe. So if you're going down the highway at 60 miles an hour, it's going to be blowing stuff down through this pipe, and it could blow in your vehicle. I am working on a design now where I can make a silicone stopper myself. I can just make something. I'm working on that design to where most people can make it at home, but you definitely have to have this capped off. Somehow this has to be capped where the holes are, because my pipe has a bunch of holes in it up here for everything to come out. All that would have to be covered up for me to go down the road. That's why I'm designing something. Once I get that designed, I'll probably post that. But it would only work with wood stoves like the one I have. But I really apologize. This video is super long. Once again, if you need more information on how I'm going to make the bathroom and shower, you know, please just ask. If you need more information on how I'm going to install my wood stove, feel free to ask. And once I get all this stuff built, which it's hopefully I get it done by next month. I don't know if I will be able to because money's short right now. But once I get at least some of this in, I will probably post it as I go along. But once again, it's probably going to be a while before I'm able to really do anything. Because I still have to buy the nuts and bolts. I still have to buy the tin or the metal. I still have to buy, for the bathroom, the drain pan and the stuff that goes with that. So anyway, I'm fixing to go. Like I said, if you have any questions, please just feel free to ask. Alright, anyway, I'm fixing to turn this off. I apologize for the length of this. I know it's super long. Like I said, if you have any questions, please ask, and I'll happily try to answer them for you. Alright, thanks a lot. That's it. And everyone have a good day. Bye.